Turkey-Syria tension has escalated after at least 29 Turkish soldiers were killed in last night's airstrike by Syrian regime forces in northwestern Syria. Turkey is now retaliating against Syrian troops supported by Russia, who are trying to retake Idlib from rebels backed by Turkish soldiers. Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanama, and these are the top stories of the hour. Polarization within the ruling Nepal Communist Party risks division among the party's rank and file. Senior leaders attempt to conceal the intra-party dispute. Deliberations on probe on properties owned by individuals holding public positions begin. Investigation of properties of former and incumbent prime ministers still elusive. At least 29 Turkish soldiers killed in an airstrike by Syrian regime forces in northwestern Syria. More injured in Idlib province. And Manchester United reaches the round of 16 of Europa League, defeating Club Brugge with an aggregate score 6-1. Olympiacos, Inter Milan, Getafe and Rangers also advance. Let us begin with the national political updates. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has publicly come in defense of former Minister for Communications Gokul Baskota. We have a report.
During a cadre training session of the ruling party hosted by NCP Bagmati Province Committee in the capital on Thursday, Premier KP Sharma Oli claimed that his cabinet minister Gokul Baskota was framed. The chairman of the ruling party added that it was not justified to hold Baskota as guilty just on the basis of the audio tape proof.
हामीले राजीनामा स्वीकार उहाँले यो टेप मेरो होइन मेरो आवाज होइन भनिरहनु भएको छ म न्याय खोज्छु भनिरहनु भएको छ उहाँको कुरा हो न्याय खोज्छु तर कुनै प्रमाणित छैन स्विसको प्रतिनिधि होइन भनेर स्विसले भनेको छ त्यो कम्पनीको पनि प्रतिनिधि होइन सरकारको पनि प्रतिनिधि होइन फ्रड हो भनेर स्विस एम्बेसीले भनिसक्यो
The former minister Baskota had resigned following audio tape scandal where he was heard bargaining commission worth 700 million rupees. Chairman Oli also objected to reports linking his name with the procurement of security press scandal. Premier Oli also took time to flee the protest launched by the main opposition Nepali Congress, which had heavily criticized the Prime Minister's birthday bash celebrations.
Now, the power conflict within the ruling Nepal Communist Party has started emerging on the surface. The party leadership has been forced to make commitment of the party remaining intact at a time when the party looks divided on the appointment issue between Bamdev Gautam and Yuvaraj Khatioda in the National Assembly. We have a report.
Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli is in favour of retaining Finance Minister Yuvaraj Khatioda as a member of the upper house, even as the party secretariat has decided to back Vice Chairman Bamdev Gautam. The issue has visibly split the party leadership into two factions. While unveiling the cabinet decision on Thursday, Finance Minister Khatioda hinted that he would take the oath as member of the upper house on 4th of March.
21 गते शपथ ग्रहणको दिन तोकिएको छ त्यो दिन तपाईहरुसँग फेरि भेट हुन्छ भेट नभए पनि कुराकानी भइ नै रहन्छ त्यसै बेला यसको चाहिँ छलफल गरौँला यसलाई आज मैले जवाफ दिनुपर्ने आवश्यकता देखिरहेको छैन.
The leadership and cadres have been gripped with the fear of the further widening rift as the party remains polarized in the name of Vice Chairman Gautam and Finance Minister Khatioda. The top-notch leaders of the party tried to shrug off the persisting doubts as chairman duo KP Sharma Oli and Pushpa Kamal Dahal, alongside senior leader Madhav Kumar Nepal, shared a common podium on Thursday. During their address, the leaders tried to alleviate the rising fears of cadres. Meanwhile, Executive Chairman Pushpa Kamal Dahal said that any kind of inter-party conflict would not divide the party. The Secretariat Committee member Madhav Kumar Nepal said that they attended the same program to exhibit the long-standing unity among the top leaders. Despite the claims of unity made by the top leaders on Thursday, the recent developments surrounding the NCP gives enough room to speculate that all is not well within the ruling party.
The distrust over the legitimacy of the properties owned by political leaders and individuals appointed to government positions through political nexus has been growing. Public in general are often taken by surprise on how our prime ministers, ministers and other politically appointed government office bearers are able to adopt wealthy lifestyles contrary to their economic backgrounds or the salaries they receive. However, there has hardly been any investigation or persecution on the properties accumulated through illicit nexus. In this context, the demand put forth by former Prime Minister Baburam Bhattarai to probe into the properties of all former Prime Ministers, including himself, has created a ripple in the national politics. Responding to a tweet message of former Minister and Rashtriya Prajatantra Party's chairman Kamal Thapa, Bhattarai said that besides himself, the country still have 8 former Prime Ministers who assumed office after the 1990s People's Movement, including the incumbent KP Sharma Oli, along with Sher Bahadur Dewa, Pushpa Kamal Dahal, Madhav Kumar Nepal, Jhalanath Khanal, Lokendra Bahadur Chand and Khilraj Regmi. Earlier this week, Bhattarai said all the former prime ministers who had simple economic status before they entered the mainstream politics now have a significantly improved economic status. On the face of the question raised by leader Bhattarai, speculations arise whether their properties are indeed legitimate. However, investigations on the property details of the political leaders have been lacking, let alone any legal persecution. And with that, we'll take a short break here. For more news, stay with us. Welcome back. New records are being set in the country's share market as the NEPSE index continues to witness a bullish trend as of recent. With the intra-party dispute within the ruling Nepal Communist Party dwindling down, the market saw another record transaction yesterday on the last day of the trading week. Altogether, 10,859,000 units of shares were transacted for 4.46 billion rupees yesterday. This is the highest number of units and amount of transaction witnessed in the country's share market so far. Nepal Life Insurance Company alone underwent the share transaction worth 289.2 million rupees yesterday. The NEPSE index increased by 36 points after yesterday's transactions. The commercial banks, development banks and productive sectors witnessed a significant increase in their share transactions. The NEPSE index of commercial banks increased by 86 points yesterday, while the life insurance and non-life insurance companies among 9 market groups saw a decline in yesterday's transactions. And with that, let's move on to the international update. A senior Turkish official has reported at least 29 Turkish soldiers have been killed in an airstrike by Syrian regime forces in northwestern Syria. The governor of Turkey's Hatay province, Rahmi Dogun, said more were hurt in Idlib province. Turkey is now retaliating against Syrian troops. Syrian forces supported by Russia are trying to retake Idlib from rebels who are backed by Turkish soldiers. The Syrian authorities have so far made no public comments on the latest escalation in Idlib, the last Syrian province to remain in opposition hands. The Turkish military began hitting back at the Syrian targets after President Recep Tayyip Erdogan held an urgent top-level security meeting in Ankara. The Turkish leader wants the Syrian government forces to pull back from positions where Turkey has set up a military observation post and had earlier threatened to attack them if they did not halt their advance. But Syria's government and Russia have rejected his demand to pull back to ceasefire lines agreed in 2018. Russia has also accused Turkey of violating the 2018 ceasefire by backing rebels with artillery fire. The UK-based monitor, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, said at least 34 Turkish troops have been killed in last night's airstrike. And with that, we have more news coming up, but right now it's time for yet another short break. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the residents of Sindhu Palchuk district how satisfied are they with the work execution of the local government. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
बहुत मन परेको छ है हाम्रो गाउँमा यति राम्रो भएको छ अहिले गाडी पुग्यो बाटो पुग्यो बिजुली पुग्यो अमो कति राम्रो छ
विद्यालयमा हुने विभिन्न खालका भौतिक सुविधाहरू निर्माण गर्ने कुराहरुमा भयो उहाँहरूले त्यति धेरै चासो दिनु भएको छैन र हामीले स्थानीय स्तरमा अब जति गर्न सक्नु पर्ने थियो त्यति चाहिँ गर्नु भएको छैन नै भन्दा हुन्छ
गाउँ गाउँ घर घरमै बाटो पुगिरहेछ हैन अब खाल्डा खुल्डी भएको ठाउँमा सफा गरिरहेछ
चिल्लो चिल्लो गाडीमा हिँड्छन् मेरो उपमेयरहरु हैन अब हिँड्ने मात्रै हो कि खोइ बनाउनु पनि हो बन्छ भन्छ बन्दै बन्दैन धुलो धुवाहरु हामीले खाइरहनु परेछ
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, why has the property detail of high-ranking public figures not carried out? Your options are A, reluctant leadership, B, political influence, and C, fear of action. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for the sports update.
Sports news.
Manchester United reached the round of 16 of the Europa League, defeating Club Brugge with an aggregate score of 6-1. In the second leg match of the knockout round played at Manchester United's home ground Old Trafford last night, the Red Devils thrashed Club Brugge 5-0. The teams had settled for a 1-1 draw in the first leg match. Bruno Fernandes opened the scoring in the 27th minute, converting a penalty kick to give United a 1-0 lead. Odion Ighalo doubled United's lead by scoring in the 34th minute. United took a commanding 3-0 lead after Scott McTominay found the net in the 41st minute. Fred scored 2 goals, one in the 82nd minute and another one in injury time to seal United's 5-0 drubbing of Club Brugge. Meanwhile, in another second leg match of the knockout round, Olympiacos defeated Arsenal 2-1 to advance to the round of 16 with an aggregate score of 2-2. Inter Milan, Getafe, Copenhagen and Rangers have also confirmed their berths in the round of 16. Time now for our special segment, Showbiz. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson and Shaquille O'Neal were among the Basketball Hall of Famers who attended the Celebration of Life Memorial at the Staples Center, which opened with a performance by singer Beyoncé to pay tribute to Kobe Bryant, his daughter and 7 others who died in a helicopter crash last month. The event featured an emotional address by Bryant's widow Vanessa, who started dating Kobe when she was 17.
I'll never get to see my baby girl walk down the aisle, have a father-daughter dance with her daddy. God knew they couldn't be on this earth without each other. He had to bring them home to heaven together.
Vanessa Bryant also filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the operator of the helicopter this week. The pilot was one of those killed in the accident. Some of the more than 80 women who have accused Harvey Weinstein of sexual misconduct said on Tuesday they are looking to the disgraced producer's trial in Los Angeles to build on what they called a seismic shift in attitudes signaled by his conviction in New York.
So, this verdict should serve as an example so that all survivors will be heard and believed, and so that all predators will be served justice.
Few renowned actresses too spoke out after the New York verdict came out.
I think the women who came forward throughout this whole process have been incredibly courageous, and the fact that they have their experience has been honoured and respected, and justice has been served.
I'm just happy that people now know that there are consequences, because for a long time there were no consequences, and a lot of people thought that they could get away with anything, and I think that now that is going to change.
You had a club?
That's right. The I Hate Rachel Green Club.
Lastly, fans of the most successful American sitcom Friends have waited and urged, and now after almost 16 years since the last episode went on air, Warner Media is reuniting the cast for an untitled, unscripted special for its upcoming streaming service. The unscripted reunion special will be directed by Ben Winston and will be available to subscribers at the launch of HBO Max in May, along with all 10 seasons of the Emmy-winning series. This is Sarah Sapsunama for Showbiz and Kantipur News Desk. Before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. Polarization within ruling Nepal Communist Party risks division among the party's rank and file. Senior leaders attempt to conceal the intra-party dispute. Deliberations on probe on properties owned by individuals holding public positions begin. Investigation of properties of former and incumbent prime ministers still elusive. At least 29 Turkish soldiers killed in an airstrike by Syrian regime forces in northwestern Syria, more injured in Idlib province. And Manchester United reaches the round of 16 of Europa League, defeating Club Brugge with an aggregate score 6-1. Olympiacos, Inter Milan, Getafe and Rangers also advance. That's all for the moment. Keep watching Kantipur Television HD for more news and entertainment. Have a great day ahead.